Hey everyone, welcome back. So today is Thursday. I hope you guys had a great day. I was feeling a little under the weather yesterday, so I didn't do a video. I'm feeling a little bit better today, but not 100%, but we're getting through it. A couple of things. Stronghold obviously provided their quarterly results. We'll take a look at that. We'll also take a look at Digital provided some bad news. So we'll take a look at that, see what that's going to possibly mean. And we're also going to take a look at the miners, see what it costs them to mine basically one Bitcoin and compare them to everybody else. So we'll look at that at the end of the video, and then we'll obviously look at the miners, see how they did today in the stock market, and Bitcoin, see what's going on there, see if there's any patterns that we can kind of see what's going on. So, as always, not financial advice, you know the drill here. Yeah, I'm investing in the following coins and companies, just so you guys are aware of that. And let's get into the miners here first. So, Annie was actually up a little bit today. It was up 3.88% on the day to $1.07. Argo was actually down 4.25% to 60 cents. Digital was up 1.8% to $1.70 on the day. It's up a little bit now in the after hours to $1.72. Bitfarms was down 1.05% to $1.88. It's up more in the after hours to $1.93. Cleanspark was up 1.74% on the day to $5.85 and up in the after hours to $6. Core Scientific was up 3.74% to $3.88. It's up in the after hours again to $4. Digihost was up 3.4% to $1.52. DMG was up 3.57 to 29 cents. Hive was up 3.63% in the day hours to 90 cents. It's down a little bit in the after hours to 89 cents. Hut was actually break even on the day to $2.47, up a little bit in the after hours to $2.50. Iris Energy was up nicely to up 20.36% to $6.74, up a little bit in the after hours to $6.79. And I think that's just a correction here as far as how far it's come down here on Monday. And then we've just been correcting ever since then. Luxxfolio was up 11.19% to 14 cents. Marathon was up 1.87% to $10.35. It's up a little bit in the after hours to $10.64. Mawson was down 8% to $2.30. Riot Blockchain was up 2.89% to $7.13, up a little bit more in the after hours to $7.34. And Stronghold was up 7.98% to $2.57, and up a little bit more in the after hours as well to $2.69 as well. All right, looking at Bitcoin here on the daily chart right now, it is at 30,165. If we zoom in here, it looks like we are having some support on this green line here, which is about 28,700 or so. We dropped to it basically and bounced off of it here. So basically 2 days here, 2 days here where we're kind of bouncing off of it. We obviously dropped below it here, but it's kind of acting like a little bit of support now. So we'll see how this plays out. I can't tell right now on the 1 hour chart if we're looking like we're possibly going to go down. The RSI is at 38 right now on it. And last time we were at that point was probably around here, and we were obviously at that point much higher in price. So really can't go by the 1 hour chart. The only thing we know is that we're not overbought, we're not oversold, we're in the neutral territory, so we'll see what happens there. Looking at the 1 hour chart, we obviously bounced up a little bit here in the last couple of hours to about 30,700, and it has come down. Looking at the RSI here, we are about the same spot as we were just a couple hours ago, and the price was much lower, and we are higher in price while RSI is the same. So given that we're pretty high on it, we may go up a little bit more, but I wouldn't be surprised if we have a little bit of a pullback going into tomorrow, which is Friday, which is probably when you guys are watching this. Ethereum is at 2023 right now. Same thing on the chart. Looks like we may go up a little bit more before we possibly come back down a little bit. We might get into the overbought territory and fall back down a little bit for a little correction, but we'll see how that plays out as well. Okay, so Digital, obviously not good news for them. So interruptions. So they announced interruptions to certain hosting partners' operations. So their miners are being hosted by certain partners. So here's the details. Our hosting partner, Block Fusion USA Inc., advised us that the substation at its Niagara Falls, New York facility was damaged by an explosion and subsequent fire, and the power was cut off to approximately 2,515 of our Bitcoin miners and approximately 710 Ethereum miners that had been operating at the site immediately prior to the incident. There is not believed to have been any material damage to the mining center building or to the company's miners, so that's at least one good thing there. Block Fusion and the company intend to pursue claims, including seeking reimbursement for lost revenue. So we'll see how this plays out. But until then, until that gets worked out, which could take, depending how long they go or if they go into court or not, that could take a while. Hopefully they get that resolved relatively quickly. And also another one here, our hosting partner, Digihost Technology, Inc., which we also cover here, has advised us that a cut in power to its North Tonawanda, New York site has resulted in approximately 1,580 of their miners going offline, citing the need for additional approvals from the power authorities. So I wonder how that's also going to affect Digihost on their mining. I haven't seen anything from them posted on it. And here's the end of it here. So while we are exploring various alternatives, the above described incidents have resulted in approximately 46.8% reduction in their operating hash rate. And if we look at BitDigital, that represents roughly, let's take a look at BitDigital here. We have them right now at the end of April at about 573 petahash. So about half of that, you're looking at about 250 to 206. It's actually more than that. It's going to be like 260 some petahash lower. So that's obviously a big hit for them. We'll have to see how that works out. So we know that obviously they're not going to be mining Ethereum here. And some of their miners here, the 2,515 miners or so, are going to be offline as well. So that is unfortunate. That's obviously going to affect the numbers here going forward. So probably have to cut that in half as far as what they have here. So it might be only like 1.5 million in revenue for April instead of the 3 that was, or in May, sorry, instead of April. All right, let's get into the other story here, which is Stronghold Digital Mining. They obviously provided their Q1 first quarter and recent operational financial highlights. So they removed approximately 279,000 tons of coal refuse and returned approximately 179,000 tons of beneficial use ash to waste coal sites during the first quarter of 2022, facilitating the remediation of these sites. So that's a good thing there. I kind of like what they're doing there. And going down here, the important part is mined 438 Bitcoin during the first quarter of 2022, including 198 in March of 2022, and then mined over 100 Bitcoin in the first 13 days of May. So if that's the case, they're going to be over 200 per day, per the month of May possibly. Average hash rate was 0.9 exahash per second in the first 3 quarters. Obviously, that's the average over the 3. I have them at a little bit higher at the end of March. As of March 31st, Stronghold had received a total of approximately 25,900 miners with total hash rate capacity of approximately 2.4 exahash. As of May 12th, the company had received approximately 32,800 miners with a total hash rate capacity of approximately 3 exahash, which is good. But they're obviously not mining at that rate right now. They're also reiterating guidance to exit 2022 with 4.1 exahash installed hash rate capacity, which excludes all potential future deliveries of Minerva miners. And going down here, we have to go quite a ways. We'll actually look at the numbers here. And their numbers are kind of hard to grasp a little bit because they do have multiple revenue streams. But going down here, here's our cash position. So cash position right now is 25 million. Digital currency is about 5 million. Digital currencies restricted is about 8 million. Accounts receivable is about 1.7. And then prepaid insurance inventory is about 3.5. So total current assets is about 15 million. Equipment deposits, 98 million. Property, plant, and equipment net is about 220 million. And total assets is 371 million. And we'll take a look at what they actually have as far as their market cap right now. Current liabilities, they have quite a few liabilities. So 124 million liabilities, which isn't too bad, which is about a third of their current assets. Long-term liabilities, we have another total liabilities of 158 million, so still not bad. Common shares, don't want to know about that. Here we go. Okay, so operating revenue, energy was 8.3 million. So that's where they sell, obviously, the energy produced to the community, I guess, to the power grid. Capacity was 2 million. Cryptocurrency hosting was what is it going to be? 67,876, and cryptocurrency mining was 18.2. I had them a lot higher, and I had them at like 22, I think 22 something, but I made some adjustments, got them down to 20, but I was still way off, and that is because they don't provide monthly updates, so it's pretty difficult to figure out what they're actually mining without some kind of a press release from them. And then here we get into the operating expenses. So this is kind of a tough one here. Fuel obviously was 9.3 million. Operations and maintenance was 10.5. So when trying to figure out what they actually, what's their cost of cryptocurrency mining, the way I did this was I just used the fuel on them. And since it's only 16% of their, or 63% of the revenue, I multiplied the 9.3 times 0.63 to get basically what they would be using for cryptocurrency mining, since they did sell obviously some energy for energy. So that's kind of how I figured that out. Net operating loss, so a big loss, obviously almost 30 million compared to 1.1 million the year prior. So that wasn't good, but at least they are growing their hash rate on it. So let's take a look at the numbers that I have for them, and we'll get into some of the details here. So Stronghold, I had them, so they reported the 438 Bitcoins mined. They didn't provide exactly how many they mined in February or January, so I'm kind of guessing it was I had to split it up 120 each to get to the 438 here for the total for the quarter. So we do have 198 here for March. And looking at the total here as far as what it's costing them to mine per Bitcoin. So here's the information. So obviously this is from their Q1 report. Fuel was 9.3. I'm using the 0.63%, as 60% of revenue is derived from Bitcoin mining. So I'm just using that number to come up with the 5.8 million, basically what it costs to run those miners. Yeah. And then obviously I got basically it's costing them $13,400 to mine each Bitcoin roughly. If you guys feel that there should be a different number for that, or if I'm not adding the numbers properly here, should I combine the fuel and the operations and maintenance? I think the operations and maintenance is probably mostly on the actual plant themselves and not as much on the Bitcoin mining. That's why I'm using just the fuel or the expensive electricity basically to come up with that number. But let me know if you feel there should be something else. I'm open to ears, and this is just my interpretation of how I would possibly do this. Going back to the numbers here, we do have them at, I did have them like 22 million here, and that is because I didn't know what they were actually mining each month, so it was kind of a guess, and I was off by like 17% on it, and the actual number was 18.2 million from Bitcoin mining. They obviously have other revenues of streams as well, but this is just based on regular Bitcoin mining, and then they obviously have a lot more expenses contributing to the power plant as well, which is obviously offsetting a lot of their revenue. But I was off by around 17%, to be honest. I was off quite a bit. Like I said, this one's going to be a tough one because they don't provide monthly updates as far as how much they're mining, how many Bitcoins, what's their hash rate. So it's kind of a guessing game here. I do have them currently at the end of March at 1.9 exahash, and that is based from their March 24th, which was in report. The company had received approximately 25,000 miners with total hash rate capacity of approximately 2.3 exahash, of which approximately 20,500 miners were hashing approximately 1.9 exahash. So that's where I have them here, and that would obviously be pretty close to the 198 that they actually mined, but I did have to put down the numbers here as far as how many days they were operational to get them down to the 9 million, if that makes sense. And obviously February and January is just a guess as far as what they could have been mining, but it's pretty close. February I had them at 5.1. I have them here at 6.4. And then obviously I'm a little high on it, probably off by about 1.3 million on it. And for January, we'd be pretty close to the 4.6 million, where I have them at 4.7, which is pretty close on that. So I think those numbers kind of work out pretty well. I just need to adjust these numbers here a little bit to make it all correct. But in my calculations here, we're actually using the numbers here. So last 3 quarters, we're using the actual number here. And then the current quarter, we're using this number here, which is an estimate right now. Not sure what that's going to be, especially since they haven't really provided what their hash rate is. So I'm still using that 1.9 exahash here, and we'll see if they provide any updates. I wish they would provide some monthly updates. It'd be nice to kind of track it a little bit better. But right now, this is just going to be a wild guess as far as where they could be and how many miners they have installed. So I just want to let you guys know on that. Obviously, with the way the prices of the stock right now, the stock is at $2.49. And that would get us down to probably what, like a 3 price earnings multiple at a 75% net income from gross revenue. But obviously, with the mining and the plant generation and the expenses, I would say maybe a 10 price earnings multiple would seem fair for them. So maybe 8, I'd say maybe 8, between 8 and 10. So like $6.57 is where I think they should be, to as high as maybe 8.22 at the current price of Bitcoin, which I probably should have to, we're pretty close to where Bitcoin is right now on it, so it's not too far off. HODL position, haven't seen anything in the update as far as how much they HODL. Let me see if we can maybe find something in here. HODL. Nope. Don't have anything on HODL in here. So it's still at 340 Bitcoins that are being HODLed. They did say it's 5 million something in cryptocurrency, so that might be cut in half. So that is that, and I think that is it. Let me see. We did institutional update. Yeah, we did institutional update already earlier on them. So everything is still the same. That has stayed for them. Nothing has changed there. And then, like I said, we'll see how things go forward. It's going to be a guessing game as far as what they're actually mining until they actually provide their quarterly results, or if they start providing their operational updates each month, which would be fantastic. Okay, so that leaves us with that being done. Let's take a look at the miners, see what they actually is their cost to mine Bitcoin, and we'll go over these here really quick. So I went back through all of the, let me zoom this in for you guys as well, make it a little bit bigger. I could probably go even larger than that. There we go. So I went through all of the either press releases or their Q1 results, or in some cases this was actually like the end of Q4 for 2021 to get the numbers. Hive still has not provided their Q1 financial update for this year. So we're waiting on that. So I'm using the last quarter of 2021 for that information. So this might be a little bit old, since obviously Bitcoin has come way down. So that might increase for Q1 of 2022. But as the way it stands right now, Argo, the way I calculated it, and all these numbers may not be apples to apples. Some companies provide operational expenses, minor depreciation in that as well. Some don't. There's other things that they may include in it, wages, things like that. So it's just basically what they're providing that I'm able to use on this. So it's going to be not really apples to apples, but it's going to be pretty close. So just wanted to bring that out. So Argo I got at 9.7, which isn't bad. It's kind of like the middle of the road as far as the numbers are concerned. We do have some that are a little bit lower, but this is kind of like the average here, almost like. And we'll take a look at what the average actually is. BitDigital have not been able to find anything. They have not provided their numbers yet, so I haven't found anything for that. If anybody has any information on them, send me a comment down below, and I'll obviously update this. But Bitfarms I have at 8.7 thousand. Cleanspark, I'm coming up with 13.5 roughly thousand per Bitcoin mined. Course Scientific is at 11,746. Digihost 11,360. DMG is at 13,982. Hive. So Hive is a tricky one as well because they're also mining Ethereum, and I'm using the Bitcoin equivalent for their mining. So their total Bitcoin mined, or the Bitcoin equivalent, and I'm trying to use, I think the reason it's so low is because the Ethereum miners are so less energy intensive. And I think that's the reason why that number is the way it is. But like I said, let me know in the comments down below if you guys have any other idea as to why it's this low. But I'm just using their operational expenses for that quarter and the revenue. Hot 8 is at 13,934. Iris is at 9,868. Luxxfolio is at 9,900. Marathon is at 8,423. Mawson, for some reason, I got pretty high at 18,209. I don't know why it's that high. I don't know if it's... We'll have to look into it as far as why it's that high. I got two that are really high. I'm trying to figure out why. I don't know if they're including a lot more things into their operational expenses than others, or what's the case for that. Riot is at 13,590. Sphere 3D is at 26,000. And we can take a look at this. And this, I actually double checked here. So Sphere, here's their information. So from their Q1 report, cost of digital mining revenue was 474,000, and the revenue was only 0.7, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 700,000. So that is obviously a huge difference there, or a huge chunk of change to mine them. So they are almost at, I mean, well, there was a time where they were actually not making any money here when Bitcoin fell below 25,000 or below 26,000. And Stronghold is at 13,432. So if we look at it by which one is the most or the least, has the best numbers for mining Bitcoin, let's do this ascending. So Hive obviously is at 4,893. So they're the winner here right now based on the numbers. Marathon is second at 8,423. Bitfarms is at 8,700, so number 3 spot. Argo is at 9,000, and then you can see obviously the numbers going up. And the average on this, if we look at it, the average is about, based on the numbers here, it's about 12,500 or so on the average for all of these guys. So obviously Sphere has some worrying to do. If Bitcoin does fall below 26,000, they're obviously not going to be making money on it, which is going to be interesting. And then Mawson obviously still has a little bit of ways to go, but then everybody else here has to go drop basically almost 20-some thousand, or not 20,000, 17,000 or so in order for them not to be profitable. And then obviously these guys are over 20,000. So there's still a lot of room for them to make money. The thing that depends on their profitability is obviously price of electricity, their mining equipment. If you have older mining equipment, it's going to cost you a lot more because your miners have a lot lower terahash. So that all plays into it. But yeah, let me know on Sphere 3D. I'm trying to figure that one out if you have any better data than I have on that one. Well, Sphere 3D I'm pretty sure on, but Mawson is the one that's kind of got me a little perplexed as far as why they're at $18.2 thousand for it. So that is it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Obviously, like I said, I'm still working on the miner awards for Q1. We're still waiting for Hive to come out with their numbers, but we can kind of run it off the numbers that we do have as far as Bitcoin's mined each month, and then we can figure things out that way as well. So if they don't provide it anytime soon, I'll still probably do the video with that caveat that we're using the data that we already have. And that's it. Tomorrow's Friday, so we got the Bitcoin expiry as well. We'll see what happens there. Obviously, the bears have a benefit to keeping it below 30,000 because they can make obviously more. And the bulls are obviously trying to position themselves as well to possibly get Bitcoin going again. All right, I think we covered everything that I wanted to talk about. So we'll take a look at tomorrow what happens with the miners, anything else that happens, and then maybe tomorrow we'll do the video on the awards. We'll see. That's it. If you guys enjoyed it, obviously hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell as well. I've been posting the videos now at 6 o'clock in the mornings because I am recording these videos kind of late. It is right now almost 9 o'clock. And then it takes me a while to process it, upload it, set it up, post it. So that's why. So that way you guys will be notified when the videos do come out. And what else is there? Patreon members. Oh, the spreadsheets are available to my Patreon members as always. And thank you to my Patreon members for their support. And that's it. Hope you guys have a great Friday. Obviously, you guys are going to be watching this on Friday. Recording this on Thursday. So have a great Friday and then have a great weekend as well. We'll see you guys in the next one.